Alrighty, super excited for this one. We got, as you can see, HG4s. Obviously, it's going to go in the Galm. So I'll crack this open. I also got some 20 weight oil for it, and then I have some 10 weight oil right here. I'm going to be running 10 weight in the front, 20 weight in the rear. I've just been seeing some stuff just on how a lot of people build their shock setups and all that, and I've been seeing very commonly people use like a lighter oil in the front and a heavier oil in the rear. And from the very light research I did, that what do I want to say? My conclusion I came to is that it allows for stability. So I'll try that out, see how it works, and yeah. So we'll go ahead and get to building the shocks. So now, after opening the package, so we have right here on the instructions. If you want to pause so you can look at them, go for it. And then obviously we have shock bodies. We have all the fancy bits. So the top end of the shock, the spring adjustment, and the spring retainer. The OD tool, which is pretty cool. Shafts, looks like bladders, I think. Oh no, not bladders. These go in the shock. More shock parts, obviously. O-rings, pistons. These are the bladders. And looks like we got some screws and E-clips and all that stuff. It's pretty neat. And then looks like we got end caps and all that, and ball cups. So pretty cool. It's everything you get. Now what I'm going to do right away is I'm going to take some of this 20 oil. I'm going to put a little bit in here, and I'm going to let the O-rings, or I guess technically the X-rings, start soaking in them for about 10 to 15 minutes. And while they're soaking for that 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and kind of get everything organized and like pre-built. So then when they're done soaking, I can just slap them in and go ahead and build the shocks. While I wait for these to kind of soak, I went ahead and go ahead and build these up. So pretty easy to build. Built one already just to kind of see how it was. You're going to need a 1.5 millimeter driver. So you're obviously going to grab the shaft. You're going to go ahead, I have the pile here. So you're going to put the black O-ring, or not O-ring, washer. You're going to put the black washer on. You're going to grab a piston. See if I can get this with one hand. I probably cannot. Yep, there we go. Almost there. All right. Gonna grab a piston, put that on. Then one of the silver washers, put that on over that. And then make sure you don't use the square head screws. You want the button head screws. So then the button head screw is gonna tie that all down. No E-clips on the shaft, which is pretty neat. You know, as a lot of other shocks, they have the little E-clip thing. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and build these four, and then these should probably be ready to go, and we can do the next step. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and build this piece. So we're gonna need to grab one of these, like bottom caps, and then we're going to take one of the orange O-rings and put it around on the edge. So stretch it around, get it on the edge, and it should look like this. Then we are going to take one of these smaller, I don't know what you want to call it, shock guides. Look like this. We're going to go ahead and put it with that little kind of lip downwards like this. And I might not go in all the way, so you might have to like push it in, press it in. Oops. See if I can get this in. Kind of just seat it in there. You'll kind of hear it pop in, and then it'll kind of look like this up against the backside. So as you can see, I already have one done. So that's how it should look. That was kind of blurry. I apologize. Let's see here. Just to make sure that's all seated. Okay. Let's see. Unblur, please. There we go. Yeah, should be like this. Then we're going to go ahead and grab an O-ring. So I'm going to go ahead and grab one of the O-rings or X-rings, whatever you want to call it. We're going to take it. We're going to put it in there. And then we're going to take one of these larger discs, close it up. And that's that piece. and then your piston that you made earlier will just slide on through like this. And then we're going to do that a number of times, and then we'll go on to getting into this section up here. If you really wanted to, you could put a shim in here as well to help kind of smush the O-ring, and that should help reduce the clearance and make it less likely to leak. I'm going to try it without shims first. Hopefully, should not leak at all, but if it does, I'll consider putting a shim or two in there maybe, and then that should kind of help stop the leaks. All right, next we're going to be doing this, kind of getting the whole shock together, which is pretty neat. Yeah, so we're going to take one of these. We're going to need the 8 side of the OD tool, and then obviously the shock body. So we're just going to kind of twist this on, and it should go on pretty easy until it starts to kind of mesh with that O-ring. And then we're going to go ahead and take that 8mm tool, put it on there, and then just tighten it until it gets snug. So you'll kind of feel it get tight, or you just kind of feel it turning, and eventually you'll just kind of feel it lock up. These are aluminum, I'm pretty sure. Don't crank them down crazy hard, otherwise you could probably strip threads or something, which is not good, especially on shocks expensive as these. But yeah, if we go ahead and look at back and forth shaft play, there's not a lot there, at least compared to like the TDAs or big bores and whatnot. Like, that is not a lot of shaft play at all, which is pretty neat. So I'm going to go ahead and build the other two real quick, and then we'll get on to the next step. So doing these pretty quick, I got it pinched in the shock pliers, and then you're just going to kind of twist them on to where you want them. I'm going to guess about there, and then I'm going to go ahead and measure it out, see where it's at. So if I can get it lined up, of course, 15.9. Got to go in about 1mm. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do for each of the shocks, if you were curious. While I was building them, I realized the reason I had them so far extended out was for the extra range, so I could get more, I don't want to call it height out of the shocks, I guess. But with these adjustable caps, I realized I could do that with these. So I'm actually going to set these all even at 12, and then just change where the adjustable caps are. So I know the one shock sat at 65 millimeters of total length, and the other one's at 64.5. So that's where I'm going to set each shock, and I'm going to do that, like I said, setting it with the adjustable caps instead. So that'll make the building process for these slightly easier. So I'm setting these to 12 millimeters for each of these, and then we'll go on from there. So I quickly went ahead and put the shock adjustment springs on there. I didn't put the little bolts in there because I'm going to take some measurements first before I put them in there and lock them down. Now, be careful when tightening these down into here. You do not have to go super tight in these. A lot of people snap these because they crank them down too tight, and now you're out of a shock adjustment ring, and these shocks are basically useless, so you can get a replacement. And if you know, with OD parts, getting replacements doesn't really happen. So you don't have to crank them down tight, just tight enough to where they won't move during chassis vibration. But yeah, so these are going to be the front shocks. These are going to be the rear shocks. 10 in the front, 20 in the rear. I'm going to bleed them, obviously. So let's see if I can get this. We're going to do that by moving the piston in here, as you can see. Up and down, up and down. Obviously, I don't have oil in here right now, but we're going to do that, and you'll see a bunch of bubbles coming out. Once the bubbles stop coming out, it's probably good, but personally, I like to let it sit for an extra 10 minutes or so, just maybe if anything else comes out. And then after that, I'll redo the up and down motion again just to make sure. And then I'll top it off with oil. While I'm doing that 10-minute bleed, I'm going to go ahead and prep everything else. Prep the top caps, prep the bottom top caps. I don't know what to call these, but this is what's going to seal the shock, bladders, yada, yada, yada. Just get everything ready. And then I'm going to take some measurements on the old shocks so I know where to set the new shocks. And then here's kind of a better video example of what you're going to kind of see. So I'm going to move these up and down. You can kind of see bubbles coming up right there. So I'm going to do this with each one of them until bubbles stop coming up, and then I'm going to let them air bleed like I said. So I'll get back to you guys once that's all done. So while I wait for these to kind of bleed, and as you can see too, the levels have gone down a little bit just from removing all the air. I'm going to go ahead and put the little O-rings inside this cap. They kind of, if you grab a cap that doesn't have one in it yet, see here, kind of see there's a little gap for the O-rings to go. A little fussy to get them in there, but you just kind of got to work them around and they'll get in there. So I'm going to go do that while I wait for these to finish bleeding. Then, like I said, we'll top them off and then go ahead and get the bladders on. Get all of these filled up, or not filled up, the O-rings. And yeah, so now I'm going to go ahead. I filled up these, though, to the brim with oil, if you can tell. All 4 of them. And now we're going to go ahead and put the bladders in. Now, putting these in are kind of funky compared to a normal shock. So what I'm going to do is when I put them in, I'm going to let fluid soak over the top of them as it's going in, putting them in slowly, just so no air gets into this. And then as I'm pushing them in, I'm going to use this for example, only going to push on that thick outer lip. I'm not going to push on the center at all, just that lip on the outside until it's fully seated. And like I said, I'm going to go very slowly with each of one. I don't want air to get in these, obviously. And Super G did a write-up on their on doing HG3s. The 4s are just about the same process. So if you're not sure entirely what I mean, the Super G has a write-up on them. But I'll show you guys a little clip of what I do, or what you should be doing when you're putting these in. Alrighty, so got the bladder. Going to kind of dunk it in and let fluid kind of soak her up. Obviously don't want air in there. I'm just going to kind of put her in there. I'm going to kind of force her down into the seat using this hex. Taking my time, only pushing on that outer rim. And now she should be in there seated, which is good. And then we'll go ahead and take a napkin and soak out all the oil that's on top of that. Alrighty, I went ahead and took a napkin, got most of the fluid out. Don't got to get all of it, but get a good chunk. And now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to actually set the rebound. I'm going to set the rebound on all shocks to 6 millimeters. So what I'm going to do is push in the shock up until I see 6 millimeters of shaft hanging out. So I'm going to take this, measure it, and once it's at 6, I'm going to go ahead and put this on and lock it down into place. Alright, now that I got the rebound set, I would like to mention I did keep the back at 6 millimeters, but I did change the front to 9. So that is a change I made. We're going to go ahead and put these on, lock them down, and I think we're going to use this 7 side. So I'm going to go ahead, get those on really quick. It's just standard screw, you guys know how it works. Twist it on, lock it down, and then go from there. Alrighty, I got them all locked down. I'm actually going to go outside and clean them off with some brake cleaner real quick, and then we'll go ahead and put these on. But yeah, I just want to clean them up a bit. I did make a little bit of a mess. So yeah, I'm going to clean them up, and then we'll go ahead and kind of get them set and put on the car. So I finished one up just to kind of see how the process goes, and it's actually pretty easy. So I measured everything as well, so that's why I kind of finished it up, see where everything goes. So for putting the ball stud in here, obviously you got to rip these off of the plastic thing. I've yet to rip it off of here, and I'm realizing I probably should have done that before I started recording. But you're going to rip those off. I'll do that real quick and I'll show you guys the process. But then you're going to stick them around the ball stud and just push them through that top hole. And then it should like lock itself into place per se, and it should be pretty cozy in there. And then you'll go ahead and take one of these clips and then push it over the top. If you can kind of see it on this one. Yeah, you can kind of see the clip there. And then that's it. And then obviously you can put your spring on and all that, which we will do. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to show you guys me putting together this one, and then I'll show you guys what they all four look like on the car. So here's what I was kind of talking about. We grab the ball stud, and so we see this little notch in there. So you want the top of the ball stud facing that notch, kind of clamp it, if you want to say, around the ball stud, just like this. And then we'll go ahead, slide it through. There we go, it'll kind of click or lock into place right there. And then we'll go ahead and take one of these clips and just kind of force it on there. This might be a little difficult. If you have an E-clip pusher, it might be a lot better. I have one, but it's not the right size, unfortunately. I'm trying to look for it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's not the right size. It's meant for, I think, 2mm ones, but see if it... Oh, well, it kind of worked a little bit there. It's meant for smaller E-clips, but it worked. It's on-ish. That's kind of smushed a little bit. I'll have to readjust that so it looks nicer, but yeah, it's just kind of the gist of how it goes on. And like I said, I'm going to do all four and then show you guys final result on the car. So I got the shocks on the car looking pretty good. Front end does look a little less colorful, I guess, because I don't have the collars, but not too worried about that. And then same with the rear. Obviously got those on. As for initial feeling right away, rear feels roughly the same as those, which I guess isn't a bad thing. It's probably due to the more piston holes, even though I have a thicker weight fluid in there. So I'll have to try with even thicker weight fluid maybe in the future for that. But as for the front, I'm not really liking how this is feeling personally. Way too much speed on the rebound, in my opinion. So, and it's also sitting at like the very top in the stroke, which I don't like, and that's because I think these are getting compressed slightly more than I want them to be. So I'm gonna have to mess with that. I'll mess with it off camera and try to make it how I want it to be. But yeah, so overall, I think a pretty successful video for the most part. A little different of a look here. You got Spencer in his car running a, well, I guess it's a chase camera, so I'm chasing the camera. Pretty cool setup, actually. But yeah, so here I am at Casa Drift Friday. You guys know Casa Drift. Testing out the HG4 that I just built. At first, because I have made some changes to them as well. Nothing fluid-wise, but just the spring-wise. It felt really floaty, at least for how I like this car to be set up. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if I like it. I ended up throwing the V2 barrel springs on there, and here we go. Ended up throwing the V2 barrel springs on there, and it feels a lot better, personally. I still do end up wanting to get probably the 30 weight oil just to try it out, and then maybe I can throw the V1s back on, which would be pretty sick, but at least for now, it's feeling pretty good. But I also did throw on different turnbuckles, I guess. I put the Rev D1s on there for a few different reasons. One of the reasons being it'd be easier to access if I need to take it off. Another reason is it actually gave me slightly more droop, which is pretty nice. So that's something to consider as well. Surprisingly, you need to make changes to the car. But overall, yeah, these HG4s really smooth. I'm gonna keep working on them, making changes and whatnot, doing what I need to do, smacking walls. You guys know how it goes. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions about anything, ask. And I'll probably make a update video. It might be a short on the changes I make regarding changing fluid weight. Maybe I'll do a whole video on it, depending how long it is. But something I do want to try eventually is that 30 weight. But, well, again, that's all future stuff when Overdose will actually, get in parts that I need. So, yeah. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.